Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. Hope everyone's having a great start to your day. You know, today is all about earnings. It's in the headlines, it's in the movers. It's what really is moving the market today. So to set the tone, we got to stay in the mega caps to start off with. And Microsoft had a beat on EPS and revenue, but stock reaction has been negative so far on their cloud and Azure narrative. We talked about that yesterday, that was going to be the narrative I was looking at. It came in a little soft, and their CapEx intensity also picked up, which has them under a lot of pressure here this morning, down about 6.69% so far. So again, you know, a little bit of a weak start on Microsoft. We'll get into it in a little bit on a bigger level. Meta, on the other hand, had a beat and strong Q1 revenue guidance, and investors are looking past their CapEx spending ramp for now. And they're more interested because while they are ramping up their spending, they're saying revenue is growing at a rate that can pay for that. Market likes it, up about 9% here, 729. I've seen analyst calls for already up to $1,000 on analyst upgrades there. So could be a mover today for sure. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning on Quasar Markets Live. I am your morning host, pre-market morning host, I should say. Howard Greenberg here to guide you through what we are looking at before the market is getting set to open. Let's take a look at the macro scene a little bit. I like to take a look at the bigger picture before I break down into individual tickers. So starting in my normal morning route, I look through first what's going on across the three major indices so far. Who's the biggest gainer? Who's the biggest laggard? Because it can kind of give us a better feel for the day. Right now, the S&P is leading the way. That shows that there's maybe a little bit of breadth within the actual winners and losers today. S&P covers the widest swath, in my opinion, from, you know, just parts of the Dow component, parts of the NASDAQ tech-heavy component, and they play that middle role. So sometimes here what we can see is a little bit of breadth in the markets. And then we do see the Dow and tech both up about 3 or 4 basis points. So that is what it's showing me right now, is that maybe it's not the very huge beta names on the tech-heavy NASDAQ side, and maybe not the most defensive run for the exit names on the Dow side, but it's sort of just that cyclical change within them that I keep an eye on. Volatility creeping up, but again, that matters in relevance, right? So it is up 2.51%, which shows that traders, while they are still buying because we're up on the 3 indices, they're also getting some hedge in. So, hey, that's what we teach you here at Quasar. We talk about it all the time, right? Is that you need to be, you know, risk management is just as important as, you know, picking a winner and a loser sometimes. So the fact that they are putting more money into the volatility side of it or hedging, hopefully, volatility means that VIX is up about 2.51 as we do see all three indices moving to the upside. Another thing that shows us hedges are still in play. Good Lord, good golly, good God, good gold. At 55.98 was its all-time high it hit today. Up 13, almost 14% now on the week, and just continues to be, gobble up, gobble up, gobble up attention by traders. And silver, same thing, 118.80 here. 118.80 broke 120. So again, just absolutely crushing it, the metals trades right now. It's got a lot of the metal miners moving very significantly also. And listen, copper doesn't want to be left behind either. It's up about 9% today to another new time high at $1,440. So metals continue just to skyrocket. I've been in a copper trade, as many of you know, here on Quasar for about 6 months, when it dropped down on that tariff news, at the behest of Peter Thomas from AU Secure, who is our key metals guy here at Quasar Markets. And I'm not looking to get out. The amount of copper that we see that's being put into industrial use, when you combine that with just the run on metals, it's been an explosive move. Well, most of risk on and risk off are moving up. What is not is, as everybody knows, where I come from, the crypto world. Bitcoin and Ethereum both under pressure here. Bitcoin down around 87,953. Ethereum as low as 29.30 right now. We talked about this yesterday on the pre-market show. I was a shorter of Ethereum yesterday, and that played out for me and my crypto crew. So very happy for that. On the short term, I'm still looking, quite honestly, bearish with high probability of testing 86 to 87,000 here on Bitcoin. So again, any kind of pop up that happens today, I will be looking to probably short it. Thank you, everybody. We just broke through 100 viewers. Thank you so much for joining me every morning here on Quasar Live. Do me a favor, give us a like, share with your friends if you wouldn't mind. Throw a comment in for us. All of those things help us with the algorithm, meet more traders, reach more traders, and help give the insights to more people out there. And then the last sort of part of the macro picture that we'll take a look at is what's going on overseas markets overnight. Mixed bag. The Nikkei in Japan down about 60 basis points. Again, this one had been on a three-day run, so a little bit of breathing room there. But we see slight rise over in Hong Kong through the Hang Seng Index, up about 0.5 percentage points. And Europe's continuing to see strength here, trying to rise back to their all-time high, which is at 615, trading right now about 612.73. So overseas markets at least showing a little strength there. Dollar index is back down a little bit today, so it seems to be consolidating again towards these lower levels in the 96.25 area. And with threats of more snow, crazy. I think I'm out of it this time. Thank you. But the East Coast looks like it could get hit here again this weekend. Last thing they need. Nat gas was spiking to the upside, but all of a sudden, last 5 minutes or so, moving to the downside. Let's get into the charts. Let's get into the earnings reports. You got to start with the Mag 7, right? Microsoft. Down about 6.82%. It did use or recovered back above its 50-day simple moving average on the daily chart here. We'll pull up the daily chart here on this one. recovered nicely, and then whoops, fell all the way down here. It's this orange line. So now testing the lower levels that we were at on January 21st. And you can see on the short-term chart here, the drop was dramatic yesterday at 4 o'clock. It has did a decent half-back recovery, but has since retraced back down. Um, I would like to pick up a little Microsoft at some point here. We don't tell you what to buy and sell, but on dips like this, off of earnings reports that were not terrible, they definitely got some work to do on their Azure growth. And that's what's really moving it to the downside, in my opinion. I do think that they have very, very sticky subscription rates. You know what I mean? Very sticky subscription side. So I do think they're firmly entrenched. I think they have a pretty good moat. And I think that they will, again, at some point challenge their all-time high at 555. So, when you look at that sort of area, starts to get interesting. I'll ask BigBeat, of course, when we get to the open. So I'll hold off on judgment whether I think we should be looking at it this morning. I am looking at it this morning, based on what BigBeat says. We'll see what he has to say on his side. On the other side of that one that I did buy the dip on was Meta. Nice little move to the upside here overnight as they had their earnings. They came in with an EPS of $8.88 on revenue of $59.89 billion, up 24% year over year. I mentioned in the open, one of the things was while they are building out the CapEx, they have the revenue gains to go with it. BigBeat was a big fan of this one yesterday. Their Q1 revenue guidance of 53.5 billion, 53.5 to 56.5 billion is a raise. Also, their 2026 expense outlook is 162 billion to 169 billion. So big AI build out CapEx messaging is front and center. But again, if they're able to pay for it and they're showing the revenue increases needed to do so, then people are doing it. It is the cleanest of the AI spend supported by ad monetization story in the tape right now. So watch for how ad pricing and engagement continues to move on this one. How is the Reels efficiency? BigBeat brought it up. He thinks TikTok's on the way out. If that's the case, are they moving over to Instagram? BigBeat did mention, and I have to agree, I've noticed that they're trying to use their network effect more and more than they used to. Why, sort of pointing you from Facebook over to Instagram, from Instagram into the Reels, into, all of those type of things. So I do think they've done a pretty good job there. And we'll have to see how quickly the AI tools are improving the targeting of their ads and their return on investment for investors. So advertisers, not investors. So that's what's going to matter to me. From a price channel, I mentioned I saw analyst increases all the way up to $1,000. I think that's a little bit crazy to start off with, but definitely looking for a return here towards that 800 area, right? Nice move up by Meta. Bigger for, Meta doesn't, to me, have a huge, I think it will get maybe, we'll see how some of the other AI names are doing. It's not translating to BBAI. Wonder how it's affecting sort of down the trail. How is it moving the needle for any of the other AI names? Doesn't seem to be. I didn't think it would. To me, Meta is a little bit of a standalone, right? It helps you get a gauge maybe on the general consumer sentiment or health and everything there. How sticky is subscriptions right now? But they're in their own little niche almost, where they don't really touch a lot more. I mean, they're big into data centers right now, so news around data centers moves them. But they're not, they're building out the programming versus the hardware. So little bit different. And there. Third one, don't fade the Musk, as we know, is my favorite mantra, or one of them. Hasn't always held true. It did for a long time. But Elon came through with a move to the upside here, up about 1.75% here in the pre-market, back up towards $439. Their EPS came in at 50 cents, was expected at 45 cents. So they did have a slight earnings EPS beat. Revenue, again, also very slight beat, 24.9 billion. Came in versus estimates at 24.78. Market is really, though, trading the autonomy robo-taxi expansion messaging and their CapEx ramp more than they are the cars. In fact, they announced that they will be, discontinuing two of their models, focusing more on the higher end user. So here, watch for margin stabilization, any demand commentary, and whether the autonomy progress is translating into some of the high margin software revenue versus their perpetual next year promises. One of the things I took away, it was their discounts if you're going to use their autonomous driving. I thought that was kind of interesting in theirs. And as I mentioned, they're getting rid of the Model X and the Model S. They plan to launch a robotaxi service in the first half of 2026 in 7 cities. So that does have them moving a little bit here. So, that's how the Mag 7's playing out right now. Google quietly has been moving up today, up 1.54%. They're going to have earnings next week, February 4th. I don't know if this is maybe a play. Apple's up 0.5%. They've got earnings today. So I don't know if this is maybe a play on that. What do you guys think? We know that Apple has adopted Gemini in a pretty big way from Google and partnered with them on that part of their business, as their AI has been less than stellar at Apple. So I don't know, but Google just a little quiet little move to the upside here, up 1.54%. NVIDIA not really doing much in the pre-market here today, kind of quiet for them, up 6 basis points. It has been rising to the upside a little bit throughout the morning hours. Not a ton of news here so far. Maybe we find, we get some chip data today. We'll see. Ones that are still moving, though, let's stick with the movers. IBM, the granddaddy of them all when it comes to computers, right? Nice little move to the upside, up 8.17. It is the top S&P mover, so this is one of the ones that has the S&P moving up. They beat analyst targets for fourth quarter profit and revenue, as sales in the company's software segment rose 1.4%. So nice little move up here by IBM. 2025, they said, put their durability, resilience, and differentiation on display. Their portfolio mix, integrated value, and rapid innovation drove higher revenue growth and double-digit profit and free cash flow growth, said their chief financial officer, James Kavanaugh, in a press release. For the full year, IBM is now forecasting more than a 5% revenue growth in constant currency, which is roughly in line with estimates. But again, has them moving up nicely. Could get, do we get some sympathy across Dell? Not so far. Not many other plays I'd really consider to be a straight play with the IBM there, but that's definitely got the market moving on IBM so far. So good to see that one moving up. On the other side of that, ServiceNow down about 8.26%, worst performer in the S&P so far. Although their earnings and revenue for the fourth quarter were better than anticipated, investors are not happy about a slew of deals in the enterprise software company has made, as it looks to better position itself into AI. And you can see pre-market looking to open down around 118 here, which would be a 52-week low for the company. BigBeat's talk about enterprise software companies are definitely under pressure here. I mean, you're sort of looking at that 105 to 107 areas, maybe your first level of support, here. And, they've recently been trying to buy some companies. They bought a big cybersecurity company, Armis, for like $7.5, $8 billion recently. So they're doing some things that they can try to do to make it, make up for this. But to me, enterprise software, it's a clear case of picking winners and losers. And right now, ServiceNow still path of least resistance seems to be to the downside. Why I didn't type in LRCX. Another earnings last night was Lam Research. They're up about 3.62. Pulling back, they were up about 5.3, 5.4% last night. The maker of chip manufacturing tools beat analyst estimates for the fiscal second quarter in both earnings and revenue. This is one that I do like, Lam Research, a lot in general. Mentioned it yesterday on the show. Their stock has been up about 197% over the past year. So investors wanted to see a lot. They got to see a lot. They're continuing to buy. That's the bottom line with it. And they expect earnings of about $1.35 a share in the next quarter and on revenue of 5.7 billion. So continuing to look for, increased business and moving in the right direction. Lam Research is one that you can keep an eye on some of the other sectors, because this means, they provide machinery to some of the other companies out there, the NVIDIAs, the TSMCs of the world. So that's a pretty good sign that those orders are still coming in, that those companies are looking to grow there. So again, sympathy plays maybe towards the chip sector on that news. Other enterprise software, let's get back. I mean, bad, it just seems enterprise software, you can kick a ball and you're gonna, the goal is as big as the Pacific Ocean right now. SAP, a company that I have not necessarily been a fan of over the years in general, down about 17.5% now, after the software company topped earnings estimates but missed on its revenue for fourth quarter, with cloud revenue also falling short of expectations there. Their fourth quarter non-IFRS earnings were 1.62 euro per share on 9.68 billion euros in revenue, but their cloud unit revenue was down slightly, and that seems to have them, similar to Microsoft, getting hurt here. So they're definitely getting hit here this morning. And again, I'm not a buyer right now of enterprise software, I think is my takeaway. You gamblers out there, I guess Steve and I did not lose enough money when we were in Las Vegas, and you Prosper folks, we didn't lose enough money when we were out there, because LVS and a lot of the other casinos down today. They have tumbled around 5.5%. Another one that was down a little bit further earlier this morning, down over 6%. The casino and resort company reported adjusted earnings for their key Macau market that fell short of analyst expectations, partly due to higher events and payroll costs. So that does have them down, and has some of the others. Wynn was another one to keep an eye on based upon that news. And you can see, I went to the wrong one. They're down about 2.64% here this morning also. So it definitely hit there. Southwest Airlines. Love. Having a nice little pre-market here, up 5.95%. And on that short-term chart, looks like it wants to try to make a run. If it can break that 43.71, could really actually try to push up nicely here. This one's one that wants to go back up towards that all-time high from the looks of the charts. Excuse me. They reported fourth quarter earnings that did beat estimates. We also, they've been all over CNBC this morning with their new plane rollout. Looks beautiful. I haven't been on it. My question is going to be, are people really going to pay the same price for Southwest that they do to fly Delta, American, the majors out there, United? And I think the rollout of these new planes is going to be a big deal because if you fly Southwest, you know that about half of their planes are a little bit older. And those planes, while they've done a nice job of upkeeping them, don't have all the bells and whistles maybe that the new ones have. If you're going to pay top end prices, then I want top end, comforts, right? So that's what's going to be interesting. But up 6%. What caught investors' eyes was news that the carrier projects a big bump in 2026 adjusted earnings. Forecast sent the market up, like I said, about 6%, benefited performance in different areas from revenue initiatives like checked bag fees. It expects additional changes that kicked in this week, including charging for seat assignments and extra legroom seats to further boost sales this year. The Dallas-based carrier posted a fourth quarter earnings of 58 cents a share on a record revenue of $7.4 billion, up 7.4. So people are flying; they're paying more money to fly there, and they do expect to see earnings of at least $4 a share for 2026, which would be up more than 300% over 2025. So that is what they have going on, and that has them moving up today. Of course, if they're moving up, you want to start looking at the sympathy plays. Delta Airlines only up about 0.5%, so not seeing it. UAL up slightly. Also, curious to see, I haven't looked at JetBlue, was one of the big losers on their less than stellar earnings. Is that popping back at all? It is. So they actually popped back in general yesterday. So JetBlue was a pre-market laggard yesterday. I didn't realize they had popped back so well, up about 6.55, and they're getting some love. So that, because my thing is I think people change probably their habits. I wonder if this helps Spirit Airlines. Does this help JetBlue? Does this help the other airlines that kind of come into that value sector? So that's what I'll be keeping an eye on when it comes to that today. Caterpillar. Read on the industrials here, and what was interesting for me, they're up about 1.18%. They had moved nicely to the upside. They had been as high as 687 on a pop, now getting sold off. There, not only did they have record quarter four sales, but they're not just building roads anymore. They're part of build out for the data centers. They talked about that. So as we see that emergence there, they're getting their fingers into the that pond, or their toes into that pond. I'm going to have to ask BigBeat here in a few minutes whether he thinks that does change the narrative around them. He has not been the biggest fan of Caterpillar over the past year or so. So maybe this gives them a new narrative. We'll see here. I know BigBeat slated to come on here just in a minute as we get into the top of the hour. We did see a slight pickup on, again, the S&P leading the way. To me, when the S&P is the main winner, that shows a little bit of breadth in the markets, especially when all three indices are green as they are. NASDAQ up 14 basis points, and the Dow Jones right now, the laggard, only up 5 basis points. I think he's settled in and ready to go. I hope he doesn't tell me it's 85 degrees, or again, I might cry right here on the show. The man, the myth, and one of my best friends for so long,
When markets move, Stephen E. Orr takes the chair. From the White House to Wall Street, he's spent decades at the intersection of policy, markets, and real capital. And he's seen firsthand how institutions use data behind closed doors. Now, as founder of Quasar Markets, his mission is to pull those signals into the open so everyone can see what really moves the markets. This is Stephen E. Orr, BigBeat on Wall Street. Let's filter the future live.
Welcome in, BigBeat. How warm is it down there today?
Good morning. It sucks. It is definitely freezing. We have a frost warning today, and it's supposed
to I feel so terrible. You can tell I am so
it's supposed to snow tonight. What we're hearing.
I feel so terrible. I feel so terrible.
I don't think my time my wife was pack up and go south. I can't help but do it again. I don't know.
Hey, Key West, I'm coming to visit. You know, if you move there, I'll be your #1 visitor. You know that if you go back.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time I moved to Key West.
I was about to say, are you now allowed back there for that? To live.
I'm always allowed to live in Key West.
Absolutely.
I love Key West.
So. Good to see you this morning, man. I mean, earnings reports, right? So earnings reports. We starting with the Mag 7?
Let's go.
Okay, let's start with the bad. Microsoft, Azure, not so strong. We talked about that yesterday being the major thing to watch there.
Yep.
CapEx spending increasing, but they're not showing the revenue to back it up, right?
Well, you and I talked about it yesterday, and I said no. I didn't like Microsoft, and I had some pretty good reasoning behind it. And you know what's interesting is last week we had Paul on, my friend Adam's son, and he's no, I don't like Microsoft. I like Sony. So we're gonna have him on sometime next week, explaining a little bit more of the kids' side of things. And I said Xbox is a problem, and it's that revenue is down 6%. I said that there's a few things that I'm worried about Microsoft, and one of those was services, which is not crushing it completely the way that I would expect them to, the way that other companies have, like Meta and Apple have. So no, I didn't like Microsoft. I think you're gonna probably ask me if we should buy the dip here, and I think the answer is probably no too as well. I'm not touching Microsoft for a while now.
Okay. Yeah, that was obviously one of the questions I was going to ask here for sure. That divergence, and we're going to talk about Meta next, of course, shows that the market's reaction to the earnings is that there's a sharper connection between profits and spending in the AI investment boom. It's not just spend anymore.
Right.
It's show me the money. So
it's it's what you're going to do with it, right? It's not just about, and look, I finally said Apple has, and I've done this. I did this because my forethought on this was Apple, because I thought, okay, Apple, we know you suck at building things, so let's create something cool, but let's use somebody else's better product. And they did. They went with OpenAI, they went with Gemini. So guess what? I like this, and I like the way that they package their services up. Yesterday, I got Creator Studio, $12 a month, $13 a month. I was like, wow, for 5 people, my whole family can have Creator Studio. It was worth it. I can make more crazy Instagrams now. I don't know why, but I guess I have to. But that's winning, and services aren't winning at Microsoft, and then because of that, I don't like it. And I was right, and they're wrong. And Apple is turning the game around, and so I like. And you know what? I made this comment over the weekend, last weekend. I was out, had a few drinks with some friends and some dinner, and they were asking me about Apple. I said, well, you know what? I got an Apple phone. Ooh, I'm like, but I had Google for, Android for over 20 plus years. And I switched over because and they're like, yeah, you're right. Google's falling apart. Yep. We know. I mean, I'm trying to be ahead of the curve when it comes, because why? Because I don't want to, technology is moving so fast. I don't want to get left behind. And it's what's happening right now. And look at the numbers in the unemployment rate that came out the other day, right? It's based on the people that are not keeping up with technology. And you can't blame yourself. Oh, I lost my job. Well, what did you lose your job in? Well, okay, I'm sorry. You can't help you there. But when you look, and it just sucks, because I put out a post the other day, like, hey, are you feeling good about the economy? And people are feeling good. Some people are feeling good about it, and some aren't. And the K economy is working for some people, but not for everybody. So when you look at Microsoft, are they spending money on Microsoft? And the answer is no. They're pulling back on some of those services that they don't like anymore, like gaming, Xbox games. So yeah, they're making a big mistake. Whereas Apple's saying, I'll bundle the whole damn thing together. Apple One and gaming comes in automatically into it. We buy the big bundle. So they made a very good move. Apple did, and Microsoft made a very bad move here. And I expect Microsoft to change tune pretty soon and bundle everything. Xbox will come with 360. It'll come with Office Plus, and it'll something else in their Gemini will come. It'll be crazy what Microsoft will do, right? Copilot, I guess what you're using. I don't like Copilot, but
I haven't used it enough to give it a real. It hasn't impressed me enough to get me to use it enough to have an honest answer there. And I agree with you. Part of it, I at some point I will look to pick some up. I don't think, like you said, today is maybe the day, but I do think that they will recover it. And if they get it together and realize to package their stuff together, like you just suggested, they do have some potential to make that move back up. Meta, on the other hand, Steve, we were both bullish on. You talked about their network effects and how they've done a good job. And I hadn't really looked at that. And once you mentioned it, I noticed it more and more as I used social media yesterday, how their Facebook pushes you to Instagram, their Instagram to Reels. And they did a really nice job of trying to keep you within their family of products. And as people are migrating away from TikTok, they've got a good place to go. And they are grabbing some of that there. So that's good. Up, 9.57%. What were you looking? What did you take? Anything? Because sometimes you look at stuff like their glasses and things that maybe others don't. What any takeaways here that you have maybe offbeat?
So we've said this right. I mean, I made a very blatant call here at the company that I don't want TikTok in this company. I just don't like it. I don't want it. It's Chinese, and it's the people that were in it in the United States. I mean, I get it that there were some kids in it and they're having fun with it because it's very wild west. But it's not a very good product. It's terrible. It's literally bloatware, and it's literally shoving it's using your phone, by the way. And it's also stealing all your information, and not just as kids, their parents' information too. So parents out there need to stop this. And I'm starting to agree with I wasn't sure that I agree with Australia, but I'm starting to agree now. France is next, banning that, right, for kids having social media. I think kids are smart at 12. They don't need to be outside of the tech world just yet. They need to be inside that tech world a little bit because they're going to grow up in it. But at the same time, TikTok is losing heavily, and Instagram is staying right there going, I'm here to take you in with Reels, and I'm using it now more often, starting to gain followers there. So that's, I made the conscious decision, and I was right. And that ecosystem, again, just like Quasar Markets, it's about building an ecosystem. It's about building a complete thing for everybody, so you don't have to get out of that ecosystem, but in a good ecosystem, one that can be multiple ecosystems can be within ecosystems, right? So that Microsoft plays nice with Apple, and Apple plays nice with Google, and Google plays nice with Facebook, and they all get along. That's the world that we all want to live in, right? That's easier said than done. I understand that. But the companies that like Microsoft that didn't do that are now paying the price for it. Apple is not paying the price for it. Apple said, yeah, well, okay, you know what? We suck at AI. Apple Intelligence, what happened to that word? Now all of a sudden they got smart, and now they're using OpenAI, and they're using Gemini and a few others to create that bigger picture. And so that's what the Mag 7 is, where I think is starting to see topsy-turvy and flipping around a little bit. So yeah, I like that.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
The other thing that was interesting is that AI is increasing their ability to get profitability out of their ad revenue. And you spoke about this, and that's a big deal there.
I don't want to see
lastly,
ads.
baby.
I don't mind paying for AI, right? I don't want to see ads. I don't. My AI is to make me more efficient, and it will not make me more efficient if I'm paying money to them and I'm getting ads. Now, if I'm the free version and I get ads, then I expect that, right? Because I'm the product. If it's free, it's the product. By if you're paying for it, then you're paying for the product that they provide. So I'm okay with that. I just don't want them. I don't want to pay $20 a month and then I have to get an ad. That happens, I'm out. And I think you'll see that would happen to a lot of companies. They'll start to say, okay, you know what? And I think you're going to start to see people just go, you know what? I'm already in the Apple ecosystem. I'm already in this ecosystem. Bring on ChatGPT. They're paying for it so I can use it. I'm already paying for all the other things. I'll bundle it in, and then all of a sudden I've got a massive machine here with Creator Studio. I think Apple is. I can't believe I'm saying this, Howard. I think Apple's winning again.
Well, they're going into earnings tonight, my man. So we'll find out soon enough, right? Up 48 basis points, and Apple is an index mover. So keep that in mind, traders. At 4 o'clock, you might see Qs and S&P. They will all jump or go down based upon how Apple's move goes, right? So BigBeat seems to be positive going into it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's going to be a good one to watch there without a doubt. Steve, I got to say it. Don't fade who?
Musk.
Don't fade the Musk.
Yeah, but you know what? Tesla's numbers are terrible. Their Model S or Model X they're actually getting rid of it, and he knows that, so he's like, I guess I'll just change the narrative. Oh, well, I'll have robots. That's my new narrative.
Well, you nailed it, and we both talked about it. I asked you yesterday, is it a car company anymore? You said no. It's always about the future. He's always about the future, not what is currently in front of him. And as you just said, he's morphing the capacity in Fremont away from SNX into robot manufacturing. So yeah, I mean, but man, like I said, don't fade the Musk. The guy's a spin doctor. I mean,
he's a huckster, and him and Trump together, it's just massive hucksters and grifting. I love it. I mean, it just is what it is. But now it is what it is.
Okay, let's get to the other side. You and I have both been negative on a couple of companies that took a dive here today. ServiceNow, enterprise software, right? Not doing so well. Yep. So they're down about 5.57% here. Another one of those companies, SAP, European company, but trades heavily here on the NASDAQ, also down 15.8% there. So we are seeing a pretty big drop here across some of the enterprise software companies. IBM on the other side of that having a nice move to the upside so far this morning after their earnings report came out. They're up right now about 7.81%. They were the top performer earlier in the S&P, beat analyst targets for the fourth quarter profit and revenue as sales in the company's software segment rose 14% to a stronger than expected $9 billion. So has them moving nicely to the upside here. I'm going to put my chart next to me here while Steve takes care of some stuff. Other movers today, Honeywell, HON, currently pretty flat on the day after hitting their earnings last night. The industrial conglomerate reported adjusted fourth quarter earnings of $2.59 a share on adjusted sales of $10.1 billion. Wall Street expected earnings of $2.54 per share on sales of $10 billion. So keep an eye there. Altria Group, which trades under MO, don't ask me why. Consumer durables company, the maker of Marlboro cigarettes. Oh, that's why. The maker of Marlboro cigarettes reported weaker than expected earnings. Shipment volume in their oral tobacco unit decreased 6.3%, driven by a loss of market share across the product line. It's been a funny move. Some of the, you wouldn't think that it'd be almost considered a growth company, but if you look at the move that the former Marlboro company has made over the last 2 years, it's moved from 35 up to 63. So pretty much it has doubled in that time frame and it's shown some pretty good movement. So they have reinvented themselves and they had been considered a dividend, play. They pay out about $1.06 a share in dividends. But they've been having some good moves, but they got hit here today after that. Another move today is L3 Harris. Trades under LHX here, down about 2.84. And I do see BigBeat's back, down about 2.84% here. Steve, Southwest Airlines, Steve, they are bucking the trend. You and I were not fans. I definitely wasn't of this move they've made. I will give them credit. They did a good job today being on CNBC with the new planes. And I think that's what really is going to move the needle one way or the other, right? Is they're going to charge the rates and the prices that Delta, United, and American do, then you better have the same comforts and components, right?
I don't like the cattle car, so it's they did the right thing, I think, here. And I don't really understand Southwest what they're thinking here. I have dear friends that are pilots at Southwest.
I know who you're talking about,
and so I feel that Southwest is trying to change their feeling here. They didn't like it at first, but they're making more money doing it because people don't want to have to pay for more. Oh, I gotta pay to be on the front of the line. I gotta pay.
Well, but now you pay for your bag. Now you pay for your seat. Now you pay for your
everybody else. Right.
So I would have to ask you, because you would not be a guy that normally would have flown Southwest. Will you now consider that in your lineup of airlines because the creature comforts you can pay for and get?
Yeah, I like creature comforts. Look, there's only one thing I really ask for when I'm in travel is to be able to travel a little bit better than sitting in economy. It doesn't work for me, right? And a lot of people, because when I get off a plane, I'm right straight to the hotel, straight to the business thing, what I'm doing, and I don't want to be worn out because I had to sit next to a crying baby and 25 jocks that are drunk. So I pay for that very reason, right? And it works out. But at the same time, JetBlue went that way, right? And JetBlue did very well. Yep. When you go the other way, Silver and Spirit, then you get hurt. So there is a kind of a mixture. Not really sure how Southwest is going to do it this time around. We'll see. I'm not that big. I am looking at my Silver though right now. Not a happy camper. I do make mistakes. I'm not admitting it yet. But I don't like Silver at 121. This is pure FOMO. This is pure nuts here. I get it that we're
crazy, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. That can the short covering continue, I guess, is the question, right? Is that what's driving it up now? I mean, the volumes again across these exchanges are, trading exchanges are huge.
I understand CME is going to come out at the end of the day and raise the margins again. That'll crush this price again. But this is just asinine at this point. And look, I know the narratives. Listen, we said the narratives back when it was $19 an ounce. Now it's at 121. This is like a meme stock. This is Silver is not, guys. We gotta stop. I mean, this copper now at all. If you don't own a house, you're never going to own a house. Now the price of copper is now 400%. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And when you have these kind of moves like this, you're going to find out very quickly that it's going to affect you very badly. And, I'm going to make a bunch of money and then I'm going to go buy myself. No, you're not. You're just not going to do it. And you're going to stick it. You're going to gamble it away on some UFC fight, and you're not going to have the money. And that's how it's going to work. And that's what's happening.
I can't argue there. BigBeat, I got to run here, sir. So I'm going to let you take over the screen. Good luck out there today, Quasar Markets. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m.
And I'm going to bring up. We was just talking about silver, so let's bring that silver chart up here. We are seeing 121.60. I am short from right around 115.60, somewhere around there, right around here. I expect there was a massive sell signal there. We nailed that one, and of course we hit this really hard. So I'm shorting again. But this thing up here is it's just asinine. And I'm not trying to talk book or whatever. I'm just being honest with you. I've never seen anything like this. I've talked to several people out there that are talking about metals in general, and they're just saying that it's crazy. Look, Poland now is the 10th largest owner of gold in storage. They just now become and I said this earlier this morning. They've just become now a large, big old X on their heads for Russia. I mean, why would you do that to yourselves? I really can't understand this. The chaos of the markets is starting to seep in, and it's not working out. We've seen that now that the tariffs are now affecting. We had the widest deficit since 2008. Like, this is getting. We got to be careful, folks. This whole thing is going to unravel. We're seeing Peter Schiff now screaming around the world saying, "Oh, go out and buy gold, go out and buy silver." I mean, I got people saying, "Should I go sell grandma's silver and gold? Go get the silverware out of the dishes, out of the like, what in the world is going on here?" So be careful out there. When I hear things like that, that tells me Jesse Livermore called the shoe shine boy trait, that when he would go get his shoes shined and he would hear that the shoe shine boy would give him stock tips, and he knew damn well that was a stock that he should be shorting, because if everybody knows it by then it's overdone. So be careful out there. I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to buy silver and gold, and be my guest, but do expect that these prices to be holding this a long time, like probably till you die. So just be prepared for that, okay? Which is fine. I mean, that's what other people do with their gold and silver. They pass it on to their kids and grandkids, and that's why they do buy it. But at this price, if you're looking to trade, you're looking at this as an investment that you're going to make money off of. I mean, the path of least resistance, to me, if I look at a weekly chart, that is not the path of least resistance. Literally, there's your answer. Is this the path of least resistance? No. And you can see the MACD numbers. These numbers are so out of whack, it's not even funny. There's our RSI. We're so far out of numbers. If you're a chartist, this is not for charting. This is not a charting time. I get it. People are going to say, "Oh, well, this is about, supply and demand." Man, there's so much supply out there on silver. I can't begin to tell you how much supply is out there right now. "Oh, but there's not. They can't buy silver anywhere." Go to the pawn. Okay, go to the pawn shop. You're going to find it. "Oh, well, the pawn shop only has grandma's jewelry." Yep, that's right. But you can go melt it anywhere you want to go melt it. That's the beauty of owning silver and gold. But when you tell me I'm going to go, and we're going to go back to a world where you have to have gold and silver in your accounts, or you're not going to have any money, folks. If we go to that world, the least thing you're going to be worried about is your gold and silver. You're going to be worried about bullets. So don't give me those silly narratives. I already know all those narratives, and they haven't worked since the 70s. Still not working today, but they are working in the social media sphere. If you got questions out there about a certain stock, I want to go over those stocks today. Yesterday we talked about Intel, up 11%. Thought it was a good time. Takes a profit off. I was right, and they're right there at the top. So it's right here. I thought there was starting to get a little bit frothy to me, and right down she went. Now where she goes again, I don't know. Again, you're talking about meme stocks. I mean, Intel becoming a meme stock is it is what it is, I guess. One of the things that we talked about. Yeah, here we go. James is now saying, individually, I know randomly called me Monday night asking if he should hold or sell his gold he bought 2 months ago. Never has happened before. Anecdotal, but was interesting. Laughing about it. Yeah, it's exactly what I'm saying. If you're hearing that shoe shine theory out there, and it tells you right. I always hear the same thing. Whenever I'm in an Uber or a taxi and people recognize me, the first thing comes out of their mouth is, "Hey, I got a stock. What do you think about this stock?" Okay. No. Wow. I'm not trying to degrade anybody out. I'm not saying, "Oh, if you're a taxi driver, you're the worst person." What it's telling me, though, is that if everybody knows it, it's a crowded trade, right? And I don't like crowded trades. I like making decisions before things happen. I like buying silver, and I did at $19 an ounce. I don't like buying silver at $120 an ounce. I was asked back in November on Schwab Network on the floor if I liked Palantir, and the answer was, I love Palantir. I don't like the stock price. And let me show you why. I was at a dinner in New York, and I was asked, what stock should I buy? And I said, I think I like down here, I liked Palantir at 35. I think I almost got laughed off the dinner table. They were like, "That's the dumbest stock I've ever heard of. What does Palantir even do?" Well, if you don't know what it does, why are you laughing at me, first of all? And the stock, we know what happened to the stock, right? It went to 120. A lot of us sold there, and then it fell back. I did not buy back. I don't own it now. I don't like it up here. Did not like it at 200, and now we're at 158. We know that they have all the They asked me why. Why do you like Palantir? It has all the contracts of the government, right? Trump likes that. He's going to give the Palantir. He likes a la carp, and he's going to give him contracts, and he did, right? but we're seeing that it's not conducive. Now, I will tell you that if you are a chartist, you like technical analysis, and I do love technical analysis. I'm a math whiz. I love it. We are starting to get into places where I do kind of like Palantir. Palantir is growing into their earnings. What do I mean by that? Well, it means that their earnings are what with them, meaning that they're making enough money now to warrant this. They're still not quite there with a PE. Oh, a PE on a tech stock. See, I understand what you're saying. All these adages, I know them. Trust me, I live them. But we are starting to get in a place where it's starting to see a little bit of buying here. I know the AI theory and the AI thought process and the going forward. And for me, the thesis is starting to get a little wary. I understand that, but we are still pushing higher. And if you're looking for some alpha, right, looking for some money, I see it, right? I see this. I like this a lot. And you can see that I've got my charts. Now, I always telling you that I've said this a million times, if your charts look the same as it did yesterday, you're not doing it right, right? So I'm starting to think about moving my charts a little bit around. As you can see, I've added Elliott Wave to my charts now. Why? Because we're starting to see this meme feel to it, and meme feels tell you everything, right? Elliott Wave tells you, you know, the cycle in which this thing is happening in, right? Fibonacci sequence is the pullbacks. So I like the Fibonacci sequence. I'll pull Fibonacci up for you if you'd like. Right there, you go. And we've seen the 50% pullback. So I do like some of this here. I'm not quite that sure where exactly I'm going to be, but I do like this, right? I do think that we could totally see some movement here, and of course the opposite direction. All right, and I'll leave that on there because I think Palantir is something that I will be looking at buying here soon, and they are using Palantir in the in the war, and I've been asked about the war. When I'm asked about that, LMT, obviously, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon. Sorry, I missed it. There you go. Raytheon there, and you know, they're all sitting there. So I just, it's, man, all this stuff. Get ready. I mean, the Fifth Fleet. It's Fifth Fleet, and if you look at defense news, I mean, that's kind of what's happening. We're seeing now. Let's see if I can pull up the geospatial agencies here, so you guys can see. Hopefully, I can give you the fleet tracker here. Yeah, and let's see if I can get this for you. And I know it's a couple of days. I'll present this to you as well. Let me see if I can get this up and running for you. I will stop my screen there. I will present, because this is not about charts. If it's just about charts, silly people just do charts, right? Silly people just do news. Silly people just do one thing. It's not how it works, folks. You got to understand how the world works. You got to understand how different things make things happen, and then you'll understand why silvers happened between 19 to 50. And this is exactly why, right? You're starting to see the George Bush. This is 2 days ago. The George Bush is now in the med. So we're now seeing the Lincoln here. So they are now all within striking distance now of Iran, and that is what I'm worried about. And you can see not too long ago there was nothing. Look at this. Nothing in the Strait of Hormuz. Now there. So the Abraham Lincoln there, the George Bush is now there. This is 2 days old, so they are a little bit behind. Well, this is USNI. You can see here. I mean, it's crazy, right? What's happening? So there's the Fifth Fleet tracker. You can see it, and it's now in U.S. Central Command. So CENTCOM is ready to go, and I think you're probably going to see something happening in Iran soon. Or Iran will back down. Now, I know I've said this a while that they are, if you're looking for really good military intelligence, I do love Jane's data. It is the best data that's out there. So if you're looking for that, this is the place to go. And I will tell you, I was just reading up this one here not too long ago. Iran's unrest. This was the podcast that I was listening to the other day, and I was reading their thoughts process behind them, and they're going to war with Iran. So if that's the case, then that makes more sense of why we're seeing this. Okay, we are now open. I will keep the charts open for us. There we go, and I'll put the Qs up here. Keep that up there. Bitcoin slipping a little bit. ZSL down at 146. I'm not happy about silver. There's silver dropping to 120 here. Let's see if we can get it even further. But I don't know that 120.69. Let's get it below 120, and I think we go on further down. But I think all this up here is just nuts. This is craziness. I don't understand it. And when I don't understand something, it's usually because there's something wrong about it. So not liking all of this. You got a stock out there you want to talk about? Let's get to me. I'm happy to discuss the stocks right now. I think everybody's talking about gold and silver. So, I heard the other day we're going to 150, we're going 200. Okay. Well, if you think that's the case, I guess so. Maybe. But that just means that look, it's supply and demand. Is there demand out there for all this silver? And the answer is it's going to be maybe, yeah. And we do need it for batteries. Yeah, we do need it for phones. But do we need this much? No, we don't. I mean, how much is in a phone is silver, right? You can do your homework. We don't need that much into it. Do we need it for lithium batteries? Do we need silver for solar panels? Yeah. You got a solar panel in your house? Okay. If you do, then you've already got silver in your house. And if you don't, you want it, then it's too expensive. So it doesn't make any sense to me. It's basic economics to me. And this is not basic economics here. This is just hoarding, and this is people scared. And I love scared money. Trust me. That is the best freaking money in the world. Scared money is the best money because it's cheap and easy, and people give it away. What do you mean by that? Well, they're trading their fiats. The fiat's falling apart. Fiat this, fiat that. Well, not really. If the fiat's falling apart, then why is the dollar pushing up in oil? Because they need oil. And so it's still valued in dollar. So talk to me about the oil market, right? Let's talk about that. Let's look at WTI, West Texas Intermediate, and why they call it West Texas Intermediate, because it's between the hard to soft oil. And go. And you can see that oil is bound ranged around 66 and 65. Why is that? Well, that's where oil usually is, where it's needed to be in order for the oil companies to make money. They don't make money at 50 or under 50. Most companies don't, I should say. And frackers definitely don't. So you'll see fracking slowing down. But they do here at 100, they're all making money. And they don't like 100, by the way. If you know that, they don't like 100 because it's unsustainable and people get mad and it's all about, the gasoline prices, it's oil guys, it's this, it's that. Well, no, not really. Majority, about 30 to 40% of your gas prices are, by the way, are Texas, by the way, if you don't know. All right. Let's keep an eye here. Look at this. Meta now up almost 10% here on this. I could see Meta pushing here even more. I do like NVIDIA starting back again. NVIDIA is starting to make its moves again. Back around holidays. There we go. I was asked, do I like NVIDIA up here to 212? I do not. And it fell back to 170. I did like it down in here. We talked about that on the show. It has moved back up. Are we getting right where we thought it would go to? Yes. But guess what? NVIDIA, if we need these metals into these chipsets, then yeah. Kim, you're very welcome. Yeah. It's interesting. I've been in the oil market almost all of my life. I grew up in it, and I can tell you, I might do like a show on oil and how oil works. I might have some friends that are literally big oil traders on the floors on the NYMEX. So maybe we'll have them come in and actually do something for us here too as well. I think that'd be kind of nice, right? And explaining oil, and I'm happy to do that anytime you want to. We can explain oil. And where oil comes from. because everybody thinks, well, it comes from either Texas or it comes from Saudi Arabia. And it doesn't work quite that well. I know that not too long ago, people were talking about the Keystone Pipeline. You're very welcome. That we need the Keystone Pipeline. We don't really need the Keystone Pipeline, and I'll show you why. And now we really don't need the Keystone Pipeline because why? Because well, that's natural gas. So there you go. There's oil now, or I'm sorry, silver pulling back a little bit, getting back under the 120. I figured that it probably would once we start getting some of this ETF money off. I see it probably pulling back a lot more than this. I don't know where it goes completely. I'm not scared. I'm still short. I'm going to stay short. I know what's happening here. This is nonsense, and nonsense makes money. So folks, be careful out there, please. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't ever do that. It's not my thing. But I'm begging you, please, for the love of God, if you do have a long on anything in metals, back it up with stop limits. Okay, know where you can handle this. Right. I don't have a stop limit on my short because, quite frankly, I don't need to. I know my position is not big enough to do that. I'm not scared. Right. If my position was oversized, I would have limits on it, and that's important. But I'm not. If your position scares you, makes you sick to your stomach, and you're losing against it, then your position's too big, right? And as positions and as I put my short on, that big one happened, that big fall down here, right? When it happened, sorry, I should show you this one here. When it hit, I took half off, and it did good. But did it suck all the way up? Yeah. But and guess what? I reshorted again and did it again and again. And here I am again. So I'm short again. It's going to happen again. It's probably going to happen really big time. Look at that. It's going to probably very quickly here with CCI. Yep, it is happening. Yep, here we go. And look at that big old wick there on the 1 hour. That's a massive wick on the 1 hour, by the way. That's a very bearish sign. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's a bearish sign there. If it's there you go. The fifth way on the Elliott wave there. This could be a negative here. This actually could be topping at 120 here on silver. That's interesting. Now I thought we were going to see that here back here was when I saw the big sell signal, and there's a lot of dumping of silver. I think it's what we're seeing now, but I may be wrong. I don't think so here. Interesting. We'll see if the next couple of hours. I need to send a couple more wicks here to the downside, but. Yeah, you see here on the upside here is wicks. Man, that is a interesting wick there. And this to me tells me that this is just retail playing around, and I could be massive futures I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Let's keep our eye on it though, for sure. I don't like that. Yeah, I didn't like that either at all. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. Bitcoin 87.6. I think we talked about that with Howard Howard's talk this morning. Yeah. Still long Solana from the 112 handle there. I'm liking that. And I'm also, as most people here know, I've started to make a position in Link. I'm buying Link. It's trying to push again here. On the 1 hour, we know that Wall Street loves a 3-minute chart, threes, right? And the MACD is really pushing against this. Yeah. CCI is, you need to have Woody CCI on there, right? And I can explain CCI down the not right now, but could explain it to people. I mean, obviously, you were listening to Steve Flanagan yesterday and Michael Litt, both talking about the dollar. Dixie still continues to slip here. Where is the dollar in comparison to history? No, we're not. But in recent history, and I think recent history is probably more prevalent than past history on dollar. And you can see that it blew out through my numbers. So this is now pretty negative here on the dollar. Pretty negative. Wow. That is a definite sign. Look at that. And I will remove Flanagan's long because I know he's no longer long there. There we go. He was long 96.20 yesterday, so we will keep this long on, and I'll move it around so makes it a little easier. 96.20 is where he is long. So, you know, if it holds down there, then I can understand that. Yeah. Again, looking at gold here, gold 55.35. Wow. And silver's topping. This is a daily chart on silver. Interesting. If you do charts, all right, well, that is interesting up there. That is telling me that's very negative up there. See here? See that wick there? If we start to see another one of those, that's another one. We gotta see a pullback. I see it below 120 or 119-ish. Then I think you start to see a toppy position there. And that's the last time we saw that was 77. Now I'm saying somewhere of a pullback to around 85. This is what I'm thinking. Why? Because you see these right here, that support that was resistance that broke through, now became support. That could be where the pullback is, and you can see right where we're seeing in the Elliott wave. So if you're a chartist, your technical analysis, you're seeing it. Tell me I'm wrong. I love this. I love to hear when I'm wrong. And I make mistakes, folks. And believe it or not, I do make mistakes. So I'm not always right. But I missed 5 this year, and out of like over 100 trades so far this year. So doing okay. Let's keep our eyes. But I'm not wrong yet. I still gotta understand this trade, and it could pan out very much. But I'm not scared, and I'm not, because why am I not scared? Because my position is not oversized. So that to me is telling me I'm okay with this. I made DCA. I made dollar cost average here. Okay, let's get back in the 119s here, and that could tell us a little bit. There's 119 there. Let's see what happens here today. We'll keep our eye on it. We'll flip our charts over here to Meta, which is still seeing some profit taking on the back of that. Tesla now down 5 points here. Now, I had a feeling, you know, it's not just a car company; it's everything. Cybercab, an Optimus robot. I can't wait to have a robot in the house. I hate like everybody else. I don't like cleaning dishes. I don't like vacuuming the house. Are we there yet? No, we're definitely not there yet. But are we getting there? Maybe. He tells us we are. He said that in 10 years we'll all have a robot in our house. I don't disagree with that. The speed at which AI is building software, the speed of robotics is very fast. So I don't disagree with him on this. He's probably right on this. I understand that the House, the Senate has come together. Schumer has come together with the president, and they are going to avert a shutdown, leaving the DHS funding out, but everything else funding is good. So that's probably good. Avert that shutdown. We don't need a shutdown anymore. Averting a shutdown would be very bearish for metals, but what's bullish for metals is war, and of course tariffs. And of course, China cutting, hoarding. And you know what happens when countries hoard? Those countries go in and get it. Oh, right? No. Yeah. You know what I mean? The United States and Venezuela. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, good old Nike still struggling here. We're only 15 minutes into trading here, and it just seems to be quieted down a little bit. Looks like we're flagging a bit here now on the 1 minute chart. There you go, Zora. See, I love it. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're trying to do, right? Is help you understand the markets, right? And I the pullback was pretty simple. I thought that it's we're in no man's land up here. Yeah, I think I think it sells off even more here. I think the Nasdaq down 200 points. I think we could go down 300-400 points here today. Oh, I mean, I expect you to scalp. That's what we're doing. This is a stock pickers market. This is all right. We need to, again, there you go. Exactly right. You have to understand what market that we're in. We're not in a market you just buy and hold maybe hold your nose, which I'm holding my nose with silver short, but it's not a market. And look, I have a trading accounts. Yeah, it's right. Yep. SPY is drowning and bloody. I agree. Yeah. It's not good. But we've also hit 7,000 too on the SPY. So, you know, there's some profit taking and acceptable profit taking here too. Yeah. And there you go. There's your silver, 119.54. If we break this now, we got to break through the 119.35. If we do that, it looks like we are going to do it right now. Actually, there we just did it. Could go even further. I think we could be down to 118 soon. Handle, and then we should be down to. If we can get below this right here, 118 handle, I expect this to be a takeoff day. This could be the day where silver where metals start to really pull back. But I don't know yet. I'm not there. I mean, my crystal ball, as everybody knows, it's on my desk, but still broken. Yeah, there we go. 119.20. I think we could see some serious pulling here. But I'm not. You know, I'm sitting here watching it. Now, listen. At this point, it's not about the prices on metal. Right now, it's about percentages. Okay, understand that we've now gone past pricing. It's now about percentages. So be careful out there. Okay, what does that mean? Well, percentages meaning, you know, what percent are we up or down the day from the basis on yesterday, right? The basis points, and because at $19 an ounce, a $2 move would be like, oh my God, today $2 move is, well, it just happened in an hour, right? Or 15 minutes. So there you go. Where's the 118? I thought that was going to happen. Probably even lower, but maybe we're starting to catch up a little bit, the MACD a little bit here. Some profit taking here. Yeah. But, you know, we blew the tops off. I don't want people to be holding all this, you know, physical gold and silver. You're buying gold at 5,500. Okay. Because someone told you 6,000, because Citibank said we're going to $6,000 an ounce. You know, I saw for the first time yesterday a commercial for silver. Usually it's for gold or silver coins, actual physical silver. I've never seen that before, and that's a negative. Why is that a negative? Because those companies are trying to get rid of their silver. They're trying to get you to buy their silver and gold. That's what advertising is, to get you to buy something. I mean, I don't know how hard it is to explain that, right? Be careful here. We could see a little bit of a pullback to the upside here, as we started that has come off a bit here. USO here, oil is starting to peak a little bit. This is the oil services ETF. This is the US oil fund here. Honeywell's CEO is now on CNBC. We'll pull up Honeywell stock. Up 3.36%. He is going to talk about AI on jobs. It says free cash flow is $5.3 billion. It's a 4%, 10% growth there. It's kind of in line with what most people are saying here. And Honeywell is what you put in your house, right? They have the air conditioners and all kinds of, they have a lot of products. Oh, there you go. XAG right back up. It's the hot one today. You know, if we can keep it below 120, the next round of selling, wave of selling will come right in here. All right, anybody got any stocks out there they want to look at? We can look at that. I love the Qs here. Okay, yep, they did not break the 120 handle, so now another wave of selling is coming in here now. I don't think it'll be that strong. I need to see volume on this, of course. Pull volume based up there for you if you want to see volume based. Yeah, or you can see it based on. There you go. And you can pull it up there. Delete. So we can see it in real time as silver is starting to pull back just a bit. There we go. Okay, maybe we were going to see it here. Honeywell now talking about their margins. That's interesting on pricing. So we're talking about margins and pricing because these commodities are what they need, right? They need these metals. Steel prices are up. Aluminum's up. Copper is up. They need those products, and that hurts the margins of these companies. So these companies will not be buying silver and gold at these prices because they don't want to pay for it. That's what I'm saying. This is a macro situation too. It's not just charting here. And that's supply and demand. Oh, well, there's not a lot of supply. Trust me, I'm gonna tell you, Peru, they'll be digging the mountains up in Peru just to get the silver out for the pricing. So I don't see that happening here. But when looking at these commodities, you still got to look at the dollar, and 96.20 is where we're holding. You heard Steve Flanagan talking about the forex. If you need a forex account or some account to buy Dixie, you can do that. But 96.20 is where he's at. Dollar still seems fairly weak though to me. Weak dollar, and you can see my line still working it. And I agree with Steve Flanagan. I mean, it's holding here, right? Seeing another drop here now in silver here. If we break below the lows here, 118.84 here, we're seeing stair steps to the downside here. There it is, folks. So we got to see it break below the 119 there. There looks like there are some shorts that are just, the short covering could be happening here from the early morning, but I don't think so. I think you're seeing some dumping here. We're right in the middle of the range, by the way, the 121.60 to 115.37. So. All right, the EU just EU's callous now says EU foreign ministers have now just took the decisive step of designating Iran's Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist organization. That's probably bullish for metals and bearish for the market. But I don't know. I don't know that Iran. We're going to attack Iran. There's no question about that. How much will it affect oil? Probably it's pushing oil prices up a little bit. We don't get oil from Iran, obviously. So just keep your eye on the war, the banging of the drums of war, right? Tum tum tum. We gotta be careful with that. But yeah, algos are now in. I think algos are in this now and basing it on headlines again. I think that's what we're starting to see a little bit. Dollars. We need the dollar to firm up too. That'll push against the metals as well. It's the sell America theory that's going on. This narrative that's really hurting. It's really hurting the dollar. And I proponent of a weaker dollar. If we're going to be a manufacturing country, right? But it makes our product cheaper. When we have a strong dollar, it's hard for the other countries to buy our product. So I understand that. But my thing is make a better product. People will pay up for better products. It's interesting here. Oh, there we go. It's breaking out a little bit. Qs are still falling here. 627 now. Look at a daily chart of the Qs. This is where my line was, a sell line, and we're below it again. Man, somebody must be selling it with the 120 handle there on Interesting. Interesting. Yeah. Meta up 8% now. Yeah. And they just whacked out all the longs there. They just spoofed them. Now we got to get below this 118. Yeah, never mind. That's there now. They blew through that. I mean, a $3 move in a day, folks, is not normal on metals, right? I mean, that's just part of it. Remember when it was 19 bucks an ounce, $3? I mean, that would have been like, oh my God. Now we have to get below this mess right here, which is 118.45. So let's see if we can get below that. It is a very weak day now here. And I'm not weak on gold still, because I think gold is one of those things where people accumulate it and shove it away. Rick Santelli now talking about durable goods orders coming in at 5.3%. That was pretty much right in line. Previous reading there was minus 2.2. So factory orders coming in at 2.3. That is November numbers, so I'm not too concerned about November numbers. There we go. We got to get past this mess. Well, that's what I said we'd go to, right? There it is, the mess. If we can break through that mess, then right on down we go. And then it could be sliding away. Right to the numbers. Yeah. And which means that we are now seeing a massive candle up there now. Look at that pinpoint. So now we talked about this with Elliott Wave. Could get back down here to the 114, 115 handle here. And there we go. We're now under 118 now. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Yeah. Now we'll see one of these wicks, baby. 114, like it was $4 wick, right? One wick in 1 hour. Wow. Right? I mean, that's what could happen real quickly here. Okay. So nobody's hurt. Still saying short. I'm not scared of this short. And I won't be pulling short up either. Pain is gonna happen to the people that are long on this. I feel like Michael Burry, hey, no, not gonna get rid of it. Boom. Oh, there you go. There's the dump I said it's coming. There it is. All right, now we got past that mess. Now what's next, right? All right, 117 handle is right into it. Now where do we go? That was serious. Now that's institutional dumping, folks. Somebody came in with some big numbers. Now they could push right back up, but that was somebody dumped. Now you know where it's gonna go back to. Now that was a whole mess here because that resistance up here became the support. We know that. We see it right here, right? So that's okay. So let's see what they do with it here. Whew. $1 move in less than a few minutes. And that's just, that's not normal for silver, folks. It's just not normal. And maybe we live in interesting times. I get all that. But this is not normal. But Elliott Wave pointed it right out to you. I showed you Elliott Wave. So if you don't have Elliott Wave on your charts, you're definitely not doing it right here on the metals. This Elliott Wave is right on it. Look at that. Look at those numbers. It told you that once. Jesus, right? on the 1 minute charts. It was right on it. We might take another whack at that bottom there. All right, look at all the numbers coming in. Hey, folks, if you don't mind, repost this. Get out there, click a like, subscribe, say hello to me. Actually, if you want to say hello to me, I'll give you my email address. I do respond to people. There it is. Look at that, selling again. Yeah, we should get below those numbers again. 117.06 is the next number to burst through, and that's we might actually go negative here on silver today. And if we look at a daily chart, we haven't seen that. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. So if that's the case, that's toppy. All right, that'll be toppy. So we'll see. But it's definitely putting out a big old. You know, get a dragonfly in here too. Whew. Also, I would suggest this is your Elliott wave here on the fifth wave, which is where the selling usually happens. Understand the Elliott wave, but I would also explain to you, get your lists of your candlesticks. There's 117 about to lose here, about to get 116 handle here. Can we do it? Can we get in the 116 handle here? So 1 minute chart looks pretty weak. Dumping is happening everywhere now. Looks like massive institutions are now dumping it. Yeah, there's a 116 handle there. Had a feeling. Felt like we'd go negative here. That is institutional dumping for sure. That volume is wild there. Yep, more dumping coming in. Now FOMO will hit the other way. Now we could see it. This could be the day. This was the buy about 116.22 is now your next level of where we have to break through. But that's a very negative doji here. So look at this. We might actually get it here. They're trying to push. They are really selling here. There are no bids in here, looks like. Yeah, no bids. Meaning there are buyers, but nobody at this price here. This could be short covering here a little bit, so be careful. But man, there you go. Gold has now gone negative on the day. Gold is now negative on the day. Could be bottoming out in the 1 minute chart, but I don't. This is still fairly negative. I look at a 1 hour chart. That's telling you everything you need to know right there, folks. $5 today. $5 move. Whew. It's 10:10. My 10 o'clock meeting has been moved, thankfully, so I will stay with you there. But you can see these numbers are right here. There are some buyers in here. I would not be touching this stuff. Why are we lucky, Kim? Why are we lucky? Could see this could be another run to the downside here. Oh, oh, thanks. I have a meeting with the TSA later today. All right. Oh, look at this. Look at this dump. I pretty much said, look at selling in this thing. I'm still short. I'm staying short, folks. This is nasty. This is actually institutional dumping. And it may catch on the FOMO, may hit retail here. If that's the case, if it does, then this is a double whammy here. Yeah, me too. I've been trading on both sides. Yeah, but I'm massively short now. I just don't like this thing. It's just it's silly at this point. Gold has gone positive again. The trading in this is just wild. I've been trading metals for 35 years, and I've never seen this before in my life. This is just weird. Let's see if we can get Peter on here. I don't know if Peter's around. Peter usually calls me, sees what's up. That is Mr. Metals. Oh, God, look at this. Look at this thing dropping. That is institutional. When you see that kind of dropping there, that is dumping. Well, we know we got to blow out. Now we got to blow out the 116.30 handle. So if we can get that down there, and we're on the way right there. See, if we can get through that, there really isn't much support now until the 115 handle. Man. There it is. There it is. Boom, kaboom, kaboom. There it is. What I say, if it breaks through that, right through, and that's institutional dumping there, folks. That is, you saw that right in front of you. That's institutional dumping. And both now gold and silver now negative on the day. Now we got to break through that, and then we go right on through. Maybe the 114 handle we talked about. We're almost there too. We're halfway there now. And the Dixie is pushing up. He told you that 96.20 was where he was long. He is staying long. Steve Flanagan told you that. So take advantage of us. 115.56 now, 115.41 now. We're about to blow through that number now too. There it is. That's institutional dumping, folks. You're seeing this live on the air now. This is blowing out through now. We're seeing even more selling now. 121 is top. We're now seeing 115 now. That's $6. That's just asinine in a move in metal like this. That's what I'm talking about. Keep it going. Keep it going. 115. There you go. Let's make some money today. This is money day. 114. As I said, that we break through there. Goodbye. This is dumping day in metal. Metal dumping day is happening. Institutions are saying, screw you, folks, and taking their money and running. Gold is now down $93, $95 now an ounce. And it's 113 handle now. I called this. I said we would have it. Here it is. I didn't know what day it was going to happen. 113 now, folks. If you're not making money today, you're not paying attention. Oh, my goodness gracious. We could even go even further. This could go to 110 today. There's nothing but air here. Yep, there's 113. Could go to 112 here in a second here. There it is. It's on live on the air, folks. You got to love this. We called this, made sure charts had nothing to do with this, folks. Nothing to do with this. It's all about institution. That's what I mean. There's the 112. I said it. We could go straight down there all the way to 110 here. 112 is about to be gone, about to be broken here, about to be the 111 here handle. 111 is almost on deck here. Big volume in silver. 111, there it is. We're gonna get our dump, folks. Here it's coming, baby. We're getting it. Woo! Let's go. I'm getting dinged up. Everybody's hitting me up saying your silver short's working. 111. Let's go. Keep going. This institutional sales are huge. Even bigger. They are clamoring to get out of the door right now. They cannot. What have I always said? Be the ticker taker. Be the one that gets out of the top. Be the one the bottom gets in. This is institutional selling, folks. They took advantage of this. This was easy peasy money. Look at that dump. Now we could see a little bit of hold here because that is now we've got a little bit more down there, but that was institutional selling. I would not be long any way, shape, form, or fashion. This there's going to be some relief rally here, I think, yeah, but that was institutional selling live on the air. We saw it live, and that's how it happens. And it's going to get worse over the next few days, I think. Now that you've got this big wick, I said that earlier in the show. If you were paying attention to me, that was the wick I was looking for, and we got it. So what do I mean by that wick? There it is in plain English. There it is. Boom. That is a definite sell. That's topping right there, and there's your Elliott Wave. So folks, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful short. Now I did not get out because I don't care. I'm still going to say short. I think we get back to $85. That's where we're going. You can see here why I think that there's 95, and then I think 85 somewhere in here where that resistance then became support, and I think that's where we're going back to. So, all right, I'm going to give everybody a break here because we've had one hell of a morning, and we've nailed this if you're paying attention with me. And so congrats everybody out there that were paying attention. Institutional selling. Could do it again, actually. Looks like they may go again at it. Look at that dump. That is pure and simple. It's a 1 hour chart right there. That is a 1 hour chart. That is a beautiful, beautiful sell. We need to see. Thank you. Patience is key, right? I mean, this isn't charting, and I'm showing how to use the charts. But it's the thought process. It's the thesis. It's how we trade. It's how we create a better trader. Psychological side of it. There was no emotion in this thing. I knew it was coming. I understood it. And I understand how the mechanics of this thing works. Right? Yeah. And I'm not scared about it. I think we go back, test even again down there. But it needs a break. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Zora. Keep with me. We're gonna make some money here. Yeah, thanks, Cam. I appreciate it. Yeah, look, it's about helping everybody. I've been doing this for 35 years. I don't need the money. I'm okay. Life's good, and we're building. And I'm the whole thing about this is building Quasar markets to do exactly this. Is to show every piece of this, to educate people in a way that explains how the mechanics of the markets work, how the markets work in tandem. It's not about charting on just silver. It's about understanding how the dollar works against it, understanding how futures works against it, how thesis of it, the themes are working. Are the themes still there in place? Yeah, they are, but they're not. Where are the businesses thinking about selling silver? It's a supply and demand situation. It's not just charts. And I love charts. I tell this all the time. Learn charts. There are over 35,000 technical indicators. I know about 9,000 of them personally. I teach them, right? Most places that teach, educate, don't know 3 or 4. I mean, you see on my own chart side, I got 6 on it right here, just and they change, right? And I'll just use linear regression or what RSI. This what is I got things that you don't even see behind the screens. And I'll pull it up for you just so you guys can understand. Pull up a hopefully open anyway. Yeah. I have different. Gosh, it's been so far on that one. That's my normal charting, right? And it's a whole different ball of wax. So, and I understand it, but I don't expect to show this all the time to people to understand VWAP, all of it, right? And VWAP works volume weighted. I like VWAP. The VWAP doesn't work right now. VWAP is because the volume weighted. It's not going to give you exact prices. This is over here in the yellow and blue. You're seeing where the buyers and sellers are, right? And if you look at it from the perspective of gold, you're not even showing it, right? It's see here. This is what I mean. These are the numbers. That's your VWAP there. It's not working today. So this is what I mean by getting out of it and understanding it. This could be another topping. Yeah, RSI is telling you that again. Oh my. Could see another drop in silver. Although I do want to see more institutional selling. I don't care about the retail right now. The retail can't push on this market around. Yeah, they said they can, but they can't. Yeah, it's still dumping. I'm not getting out of it. Screw it. Right? Let's make some money. Let's go big. Wow, look at that ZSL at 170 now, 13 cents now, and I have a lot. Oh, Oprah Winfrey's 72 today. Now you're seeing here, right there's that Swift pinpoint there at 111.64. We need to break that in order to get a little bit further down. But this is a 1 minute chart. Pull up a 1 hour chart here, and I'm going to go big charting here. So, yeah, I'm going to go big charting here. That dump is beautiful. Now it is into my lines. So that's where it was. But if we can break through those lines, I love it. You know, anything. Yeah, it's all about delivery. Nobody's taking delivery, which means that's why the price is dumping. We know that supply and demand. I'm gonna stay live here until I have to go. I guess why not? Bitcoin is dumping here now, down 4% here. Here reports that Iran's naval forces will carry out live fire exercises next week. Okay, there's 111. Again, now remember we talked about, so we got to get through that. So let's pull up that 1 minute chart for everybody to understand. So we got to break through that, and if we break through that, then down she goes. But I don't know if we'll do that. That's getting a little bit too dicey here, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm personally not. I think that we could break here. Let's see if they dump more. Let's see if the institutions dump more here. All right, I'm going to pull up a 10-second chart. So this is going to be tight, so they will understand a little tighter here now. As we're live on the air. 112 is holding just a little bit. Oh, no, maybe not. Let's see that's a push through. We're going to get a push through here, folks. They are trying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is not usually a good number. They're trying to sell it here. There it is. Kaboom. Now we need 111.30. You know where to go. Boom! 110. Woo! Look at that move. I had a feeling they were going to dump it. There's more dumping coming in. Man, that is just incredible dumping. I said we could get to 109 here today. That's where I thought we'd go. $11, folks, on dump on this silver. $11 blowing through the holes. That's institutional. They're saying thank you, thank you, thank you. Big firms that own large swaths of silver are just saying goodbye. $110 could break right here. We're getting to 109. Was exactly what I said this morning. Hallelujah. Woo! That is crazy money here. Holy unwind is right. 108 now. My God. Okay, I got to think about this one now. Holy tamales. 107 now. Oh my. My. Oh my goodness. Okay, I am taking half off here on my short. Going to keep the rest of the short here. I should be. I have to pay attention here. I got too much going on here in front of me here. Okay, I'm now out of half of my short position here. And I still think we go down even more. But it was a little heavy, as we all know, and I want to take some money. Oh, thank you, Zora. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. We're gonna do this again tomorrow, but I'm loving this. I was gonna say live with you guys. This is one of the best shows we've ever done. Live here, 2 hours on the show here, so I'm very happy about that. I'm still short, but that was crazy, and we did this live on the air, and that right there tells you everything. That tells you that silver is not what silver is supposed to be. So they took advantage of the retail here, folks, and be careful out there. All right, from all of us at Quasar Markets, we wanted to say thank you so much for watching. And I know we all made money today. If you didn't make money today, that's on you, because this was laid out for you. I knew this was the place to be today. It wasn't in about Microsoft or wherever. I might take some of this profit and put it into Bitcoin here today. So, all right, for those of us at Quasar Markets, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We'll see you back here a little bit later today. You're welcome.